Eritrea, the revolution that betrayed its own. They fought empires. They built a nation from ashes. They dreamed of equality. But when the guns fell silent, a new elite emerged. This is the untold story of Eritrea's revolution. Not just flags and heroes, but how class warfare shaped a nation, and how women, youth, and farmers paid the price. Colonial Blueprint: How Italy Engineered Eritrea's Class Prison, 1890–1941. Rome didn't just colonize land, it built a racial caste system. When Italy proclaimed Eritrea its colonia primogenita in 1890, they designed a three-tiered hierarchy. Elite: Italian industrialists and settlers owned 80% of fertile land. Middle: Eritrean askari, colonial soldiers policing their own. Base: landless farmers and urban proletariat restricted to slums like Abishoal. While Asmara got Art Deco cinemas, Eritreans got starvation wages building Mussolini's African Rome. Industrial skills? Yes. Education? Only 12 primary schools for natives by 1940. This wasn't development. It was a factory producing cheap labor. And when Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1935, they sent 60,000 Eritrean askari to die for an empire that despised them. The ultimate class betrayal. But resistance simmered beneath. Women like Woizero Belenesh organized covert food strikes in Asmara's factories, while Muslim and Christian youth forged cross-class alliances in secret study circles, the embryo of revolution. When Britain expelled Italy in 1941, they didn't liberate Eritrea. They dismantled its industries and weaponized sectarian divides. The stage was set for betrayal. Neo-colonial trap: America, Ethiopia, and the Federation Fraud, 1941–1962. 1941. Britain promised freedom. What came instead? The Great Power Swap. As the Cold War raged, the US needed a Red Sea spy base. Ethiopia wanted ports. Eritreans? Expendable. In 1950, the UN, led by US Secretary of State John Foster Dulles, forced a federation even Dulles admitted defied justice. Strategic interests make it necessary that the country be linked with our ally, Ethiopia. Enter Kagnew Station, America's electronic ear on Africa. With 4,000 US personnel in Asmara, it became the CIA's largest listening post. But for Eritreans, economic suffocation. Ethiopia smashed Eritrea's industries, relocating factories to Addis. Banned native languages, Tigrinya replaced by Amharic. The 1958 general strike was met with massacres and the labor unions were crushed. Women bore the brunt. When Ethiopian troops seized farmlands, peasant women like Selamawit from Keren organized underground food networks, the first wartime people's kitchens. Students staged multilingual protests chanting "Our schools, our language," until beaten by US armed police. By 1962, Ethiopia dissolved the federation outright. A revolution was inevitable. Revolution's Laboratory: How the EPLF Weaponized Class Solidarity, 1961–1991. The Eritrean Liberation Front (ELF) began in 1961 with 13 Muslim rebels, but tribal and religious fractures nearly doomed it. Then emerged the Eritrean People's Liberation Front (EPLF), Marxists who understood that to defeat Ethiopia, they must first dismantle internal class hierarchies. The EPLF's egalitarian blueprint: no rank privileges, commanders and cooks ate identical rations. Mandatory literacy programs, peasants taught by student recruits. Women's emancipation units, 30% of fighters were women. Genital mutilation was banned in liberated zones. Women would sing. We carried AK-47s during the day and taught gender equality at night. Men washed clothes, women led battalions. Youth were the engine. Teenagers like 15-year-old Petros smuggled Soviet tanks through Sudan's deserts after dismantling them piece by piece. In Nakfa's mountain caves, they built revolutionary schools and hospitals, a state within a state. When the Soviets backed Ethiopia with $2 billion in arms, Eritrean farmers starved to fund the resistance, donating 80% of harvests to the front lines. But this unity had dark seams. The EPLF purged class traitors, real or imagined. Dissent meant re-education camps. The revolution's greatest strength, discipline, became its future Achilles heel. Independence's broken promises. When liberators became lords, 1991 present. May 24, 1991, victory. The EPLF marched into Asmara as heroes. But within a decade, those heroes built Africa's most militarized state. How did revolutionaries become oppressors? The new class pyramid. Elite PFDJ military oligarchy. Control mines, telecoms, imports. Middle diaspora investors, remittances, draws 35% of GDP. Base, conscripted youth, endless national service. When rank-and-file fighters demanded democracy in 2001, President Isaias jailed the G15 reformers, heroes who helped win independence. Universities became military barracks. National service, once revolutionary mobilization, became indefinite slavery mining gold for generals. Women who bled for liberation watched as the state banned independent women's groups, forced conscripted girls into marriages with commandos, jailed feminists like Senite for demanding equality. Foreign corporations returned, but now partnered with generals. Nevsun Resources paid $1 billion to mine Eritrea's zinc. The catch? Military conscripts provided the labor. The revolution's cry, "Never again slaves," became a sick joke. The unbroken, women, youth, and farmers resist again. Yet Eritrea's oppressed classes refuse to surrender. In the shadows, a new resistance brews. Market women recreated wartime networks to smuggle food to political prisoners. Youth activists used mesh networks to bypass regime firewalls. Leaking mining contracts exposed hidden corrupt practices of public officials. Over 12,000 plus deserters escaped conscriptions to form the opposition in exile. Farmers also revive EPLF-era tricks, hiding harvests in mountain caves to starve the army. Women like Miriam in Massawa run underground schools teaching the banned 1997 constitution. As one refugee said, "They won the tanks, we keep the dream." Eritrea's tragedy isn't just colonial theft or war, it's how revolution's liberators became jailers. The lesson? Independence without dismantling class structures, and a social revolution changes only the flag, not the chains. Yet in every clandestine classroom, every shared harvest, the people keep alive the true revolution, one where freedom means more than a strong man's whim. If we want to understand Eritrea today, we must remember the class struggles of its past and the ordinary people who dared to rise. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through Eritrea's untold history. Drop your comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue to explore the stories that shaped Africa's past and future. Together, let's celebrate the legacies that define us. Until next time, stay critical and keep questioning.